We'll be back. We're glad you joined us, too. We'll be back with more. In fact, Chris Pirillo, one of the original hosts of Call for Help, will be here. Stay here. All right, welcome back to the lab with Leo Laporte. I understand there's a pool going on, a betting pool going on. What's the prize for how quickly, for when I say call for help? $100? Wow, that's nice. And Matt Harris, my producer, what number did you, how soon did you think I was going to say? By episode 2? Oh man, I have to be good through then? All right, I should get a cut, by the way. We should talk, you and I. Let's get our next caller on the show here. Kate Abram, what do we have?
Our first lady, we have Jennifer from Mississauga in Ontario.
Great. And is she on the phone or the
She's
cam?
on the phone.
Hello, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Well, I'm very well. Welcome to the lab. What can I do for you today?
My issue is I'm trying to share a printer between 2 computers.
Okay.
And the problem I'm running into is that my laptop is via wireless.
Okay.
And the printer is, hooked into the wireless one. So I can't figure out, without actually plugging them physically together,
Right.
to get them to share printers.
So you have a network.
Yes.
It's a wireless network.
Yes.
So you've got a wireless access point, and do you have the desktop hooked into the wireless access point but wired? How is the desktop on the network?
The desktop, yes, is plugged into the wireless.
It's plugged in, and then the laptop is wireless and it's not plugged in.
Exactly.
And the printer is connected to the laptop.
Correct.
Okay. What happens when you try to print? Can they see each other?
No.
No. So the problem is that the desktop can't print. Obviously, the laptop can't because it's hooked directly to the printer. You know what? It's hard for me to visualize this. So what I'm going to do, could you make a note? Because we need a whiteboard or something so I can.
Actually, Leo, we have a whiteboard.
Oh, look at this. Thank you. Kate, will you be my.
I will be your
stand. All right, we have a whiteboard. We don't have a stand. All right, thank you. Do that again. Hand me the. That's good. I not only have a whiteboard, I have a whiteboard that has a hand coming out. So Jennifer, let me see if I can get this right here. So I've got a desktop computer here, and this desktop computer is hooked into a router. And the router is also wireless, so I'll put little antennas on it. And now this one has a cable, so make that a cable. And then there's a laptop here, and the laptop is hooked to the printer. I don't know how to draw a printer, so I'll make it like that. But the laptop is by radio waves talking with the router. Now, have you tried file sharing or in any way communicating between the laptop and the desktop?
I've tried, but I've been unsuccessful.
Okay, so they can't even talk to each other. Out of curiosity, I know that you can't go in this direction because that's the computer trying to print to the laptop. Can the laptop, if you hook the printer up to the desktop, could the laptop print to it? Have you tried that or any communication from...
I have not tried that, but that probably is worth it.
Sometimes wireless, there are a couple of things going on. Sometimes wireless drops the connection, and that may make it a little sporadic. More likely, though, when you have a situation like this, the culprit is almost always security software. The idea of a router and any firewall software on either of these is to block this kind of communication, right? And so what may well be happening, think of a router as a one-way valve. So information can come in and go out, but it can't go the other way. It gets stopped by the router. And a firewall does the same thing. So it's very likely, and this happens all the time when people have trouble networking, that you've either got a firewall, a Windows firewall, or you have like Norton Internet Security or something like that running? You do?
Right.
All right, so you're going to want to disable any security software that you've got running. Is the Norton Internet Security running on the laptop or the desktop?
On both, actually.
Oh, all right. Well, that's very likely it's certainly one of the culprits. It's doing what it's supposed to do, which is being a firewall, blocking unrequested incoming traffic. If you have it running on the laptop, any request to print is going to get bounced right off. So I think that's what's happening. Boy, I really made a mess here. I think that's what's happening. So what I would do is disable any security software, not permanently, but just temporarily, to make sure that that's not getting in the way. The router could also be getting in the way. You want to make sure the router is allowing printer sharing. That'll be a setting in your router.
Okay.
The other thing you might want to try is putting the printer on the desktop.
Okay.
Because laptops go to sleep, they lose the wireless connection. Kate, you're just great. Wait a minute, let me give her the. We got here's the. Thank you, Kate. She's a great whiteboard stand. I appreciate it. So that's basically the idea: is that the router or the firewall will block that kind of traffic. You know, there are steps we go through to see if we can. For instance, you can ping from the desktop to the laptop just to see if a network signal is getting back and forth. Do you know how to ping?
No.
All right, so you're going to open a command prompt in
Okay.
Windows. You know, you go to start, run, and then command, and then you just type PING, and then you type the address of the route of the other computer, which will be 192.168.something.something. You'll have to check and see what that is.
Okay.
If you can ping it, I'll just try 1.1, see if there's another one. So it's sending, what it's doing is pinging, is sending signal out to the router, and then in this case the request timed out. You see it said the request timed out. What that means is, here I'll zoom in on it. What that means is it can't get there. If that's what's happening to you, that means you're not getting any network communication. If you can ping, then that means at least you've got a connection, but that something is blocking the printing. So that's what you have to kind of start with ping, move your way up through the networking to see what it is that's stopping. I bet you can't even ping, in which case turning off any of the security software temporarily will fix it. Then once you figure out what security program is blocking it, then you have to figure out how to tell that security program, oh, it's okay, you can print. And that's
Okay.
that's a topic for another show. I could go on that one. It's networking. You know, it's funny. Networking was never intended for mortals. It was intended for, you know, network administrators. But somehow we've got it now in the home, and we're doing stuff that, you know, in the office was you know, for a pro 5 years ago. It's complicated stuff. Jennifer, I thank you for calling. There's a few things you can try anyway. Okay. I think it's time for Ryan Yule and his Yule's Jewels. You're back. I guess we're going to give you one more chance. You did such a good job last time.
Well, thank
What's
you.
our free file of the day today?
Well, I'm a switcher. I think I mentioned that to you. And when I switched over to Safari and Firefox on the Mac, I was a little bit frustrated by the maximize feature.
You can't get that window to fill the screen.
You can. I'll press plus here, and look, we
There's always that little edge.
almost made it. And just to make things fair, I'll show off Safari, and here we go. And look at that.
It's a Mac thing, not a browser thing.
Yeah, it's so I found a site where you can just take a little bit of JavaScript right here, this full screen JavaScript, click on it, drag it up here.
So it makes a bookmark.
Yeah, it makes a bookmark, and I put it in another bookmark, so let me just put it in
at the
bar.
end there.
There
yeah.
we go.
Yeah.
Call it full screen great, and now when I hit that little button,
Boom!
look at that.
Look at that. That is very cool.
I like it.
Free, available, and easy to use.
Absolutely.
You could go to JY Design site, but I think the best thing to do would be to go to
Labwithleo.com will show you where to go.
That's where we store Yule's Jewels.
Yes.
Someday we'll let him have them back. Chris Pirillo is coming up to show us the future of television, and I got a hint for you. It's online. But first, one more chance to take our quiz question of the day. Before the lab started, I did a show called Call for Help for some years. The question is, what years did we air that show? Was it 97, 98, 99, or 1563? Give us a jingle. Go to the website, blabwithleo.com, and pick the answer. And I'll tell you the actual facts when we come back. Stay right here. Welcome back to Call for Help. Before the break, we asked you a little history, kind of self-involved, I guess. But what years did Call for Help air in? We know it ended this year, so 2007. When did it begin? I bet Chris Pirillo might know that. I don't know. 1998. May 11th, 1998. That was when Tech TV went on the air. This is no longer Call for Help. This is The Lab, its successor. I'm Leo Laporte. And standing right next to me, a guy who hosted Call